Hello, my beautiful friends. Happy Thursday. I cannot believe it's already Thursday. It's a new, I was going to say new week. It feels like a new week. I don't even know what day it is. I was just talking to somebody yesterday at Nicolette's softball game, and I don't know what day of the week it is these days. I don't even know what season we're in. I'm hearing Alexa play Christmas music, and I'm just like, where are we? Is it summer yet? Are we doing squats? Are we doing arms? Are we doing abs? Where are we right now? It's Thursday. That's all I know. And it's the best day ever. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Jessica. Pamela, I loved your story that you posted yesterday. I still need to comment on that, but thank you for sharing a little bit about your journey. Hi, Julia, my girl. I am just so excited. This week we kicked off the G-Fit Academy. The girls are already rocking it, and I'm excited to see where this leads everyone in 12 weeks. So it truly is the best day ever. This week was all about fun. Okay, the mantra this week was all about fun, having fun and playing in different areas, maybe playing in the gym, trying out some headstands, playing in the kitchen, playing wherever it is, but just adding that other extra layer of fun to whatever it is. I was really going back and forth between play and fun as my words of the year. So you're kind of understanding the whole theme behind it. It's about like with everything going on, it's really important that we don't forget to play and we don't forget to have fun. Otherwise, we just find ourselves burnt out and just doing the day to day. I love seeing how many of you girls are playing on a daily. Christine, you add a lot of playfulness to our tribe. And Kathy with your humor. And yeah, just love it. So this week I had some playtime in the pool. Today, after my swim, I just kind of played with motions, did a little bit of some fast kicking, did a little bit of some wide kicks, did a little bit of some of these kicks, did a little bit of like these kicks. I was like, what does this feel like? So we had a lot of fun this week playing around after my workout. As you saw, I did headstands yesterday, just kind of playing after my flow, getting into the music and just having fun. And then I had some fun in the kitchen. And so today we are going to dig into a very simple hack. Maybe some of you have tried this before, but this is something that I just literally created and I'm obsessed. And my kids even love this recipe. So anytime we can get something for the entire family, it's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. No pun intended, but true story. Okay, so how's everyone doing? Hi, Marie. There's Christine. What's up, girl? I love how you said no questions for me today, but giving a huge shout out to everyone here who's rocking it. Let's dig into some of our questions, and then I am going to share with you my exciting recipe that is so simple and it's going to change your flavor game. All right, so the first question, there's just only a few, so it won't take us that long, is let's see here. The first question that comes up this week is from Julia. Julia, great question, asking about having a bread recipe with no protein powder that would only have a serving of protein, no carbs, and no fats. Would your carb seed bread work without the seeds, or do you have another recipe? Really good question, and I'm going to work on one for you because rather than giving you suggestions, I want to make sure that I perfect it. But if we can have bread as just a protein source all day long, that is definitely a winner. But in the meantime, finding those little carb options like the bread, the crepes or the egg white thins, while it doesn't have that same bread consistency, which I know is what you're after, trying different things like that to kind of satisfy still that kind of bread flavor, be able to do your wraps, be able to do things like that, is also going to help you. But let me perfect that recipe for you so we can find one. Is probably not going to be the exact same, but trying to get more of that bread like consistency that I know you're talking about. I'm going to play a little bit and I will report back to you. Next question is from Amy. She asked about during this awesome arm challenge, I realized that it's hard for me to get a good squeeze in my triceps, actually more so in the left arm than the right side. I have tried different angles, doing them with weight, without weight, but I still have no good squeeze feeling. What am I doing wrong? This is a really, really good question. And the first one is questioning how and when are you doing the arm challenge? Are you doing it at the end of your workout? Or are you doing it at the beginning of your workout? Because if you're doing it at the end, you may be fatigued. Your body's fatigued. You've already crushed our G-Fit circuit and your body's just tired. So it's harder to get that pump. It's harder to get that total connection because your body's like, I'm done. I'm done with these arms, and you're not going to get as much out of me. So what I would recommend is that you do your arm challenge first. So knock that out of the way when you're fresh, your muscles are relaxed, and then crush them out that way. If you're already doing them first, or you try that and you're still not getting that pump that you want, then my next recommendation would be to split them up throughout the day. It really is so important that you give your body that rest and that recovery. So if you can just split them up and do whatever the challenge is throughout the day, that's really going to help to do less, but to maximize the less that you do at any given time. So split them up, maybe breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe split them up, during your workout, and then maybe towards the end of the day, however you want to do it, but just giving your body more time to rest and recover, you're going to get more of that pump. The second part of your question, talking about feeling it in one side more than the other, that is so normal because we all have more dominant sides. So one side is going to be more dominant than the other. And that's why I really highly recommend and love doing isolated single workouts. So if we're doing, say, let's say bicep curls, when you're doing them together, then one side is naturally going to be more dominant. So you're going to be pulling it more on on one side versus the other. If you're doing it one at a time, your body has no choice but to totally focus and isolate on that one side. Really, really common. And this is two reasons why I love using dumbbells is number one, because you can isolate one side at a time versus when you're at the gym or you're doing something with machines. If you're doing like a bicep curl that has a single bar or you're doing a machine, naturally you have one side that's going to be more dominant. So even though you're pulling up that bar at the same time, one side's pulling more than the other, whether you realize it or not. So using dumbbells really helps to kind of isolate, and then taking it to that next level, doing single work really helps you to isolate on whatever muscle you're doing one at a time. So one thing you can do, Amy, is to split everything up, but then also now isolate by just doing single work, one side at a time. So even if one side is stronger than the other, you're at least giving them both the same amount of effort by doing them single. All right, so I hope that helps. Let me know. Ladies, next month we are not doing an extra challenge. We are going to focus on a completely different thing. We're going to focus on, yes, that muffin top. We're going to do a couple other variety of workouts, but we're not going to have that extra challenge. We're going to pull back a little bit. We're going to focus on other areas. And then come June, we're going to rock those squats. So just want you to know you guys have crushed it with abs. Some of you did abs twice in a row. And then now we're doing the arms. So next month, we're going to kind of let things semi-chill before we turn things up for the squat challenge. So until then, just keep focusing on what we're doing. You're doing great, really working those arms, isolate, and split them up as you go. Okay, next question is from Lisa, and she says, I've noticed you don't wear shoes during your home workouts. Is there a better activation when working out without shoes? I just love not wearing shoes. I barely ever wear shoes in general. You see me with a pair of Nikes on, you're wondering, what's going on? What's going on? I not only do I love just being barefoot and wearing sandals, but I just love being barefoot in the sand. I like the grounding effect that you get from being on the solid ground. There's really an energetic grounding that happens. But beyond that, in the gym, yes, when you're not wearing shoes, you're able to feel your muscles a little bit better. You're able to really strengthen those ligaments and all those muscles in your feet, and you can really focus on form better. So if you're wearing shoes and you have like a nice arch in there, or you have a thicker heel or a thicker sole, then you're not able to totally feel what's happening. So as you're using just your feet alone, you're strengthening ankles, ligaments, toes, all the muscles in your feet, but you're also able to really focus on that form. So as I'm saying, using those heels to rise up to really activate those glutes, that's what's happening. You're feeling it a little bit more. So just play around with it and see. There's so much research, and I'm not going to get into the science because I'm not an expert in barefoot training, but there's a whole lot of science behind barefoot training and the ligaments that happen, and how when you wear shoes, it actually can kind of not band-aid, but it can only almost mask what our feet are meant to do, because we're using all these cushions. And a lot of times, if you have the wrong cushioning on your feet, or you have the wrong support, it can affect all areas of your body, stemming from going all the way up your body. So when you ground down with your feet, you're gaining that strength, you're gaining that flexibility, you're able to really feel that mind muscle connection, feeling it when we focus on toes, when we focus on heels. So it just kind of helps, and I've fallen in love with barefoot training. So if you haven't tried it, give it a try and see how you feel, and maybe you have a little bit more of a connection to your posture and your strength. Kate, hi Kate. Yay, nice to be here with you too. I'm glad you made it. I know your time zone's a little bit different. Hi Kelly, getting you in the pool. I see you rocking your swims. Love it. And hi Christine, see you. Okay, so are you ready for this game-changing recipe? So many of my recipes literally come from me looking in the fridge and looking and wondering, what the heck am I going to do with the little food that I have? And that's where my creative genes come in. So I have this huge, huge jar of pickles. And pickles are free food, dill pickles, not sweet pickles. And I've had it in there forever because I go on these kicks where I'm like, I love pickles, I eat them all the time, and then I'm over them or I just forget about them, whatever it may be. But I had this huge jar in there that's just been sitting there, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna play this week in the kitchen, and what can I do with these pickles? Cha-ching! I used it as a liquid as I was making my chicken in the crock pot. And I've heard really good things about flavor, about tenderizing. Let me just tell you, this simple hack, this simple recipe, if you like pickles, is amazing. And even if you like pickles, but you're like, really, isn't that going to be like a really strong pickle taste? It's actually not as strong as you would think. It's kind of mild, but yet it tastes like you're biting into a burger with pickles on top of it. So I'm going to show you how to do it really, really simple. And then I also went to the next level and created a Dijon dill recipe that I will share. But when we're talking about getting simple, creative, this is what I'm talking about. Jenny Vesley, if you happen to watch this, or I'll tag you here in the video, you were asking me about how to keep chicken moist and what are some tips for that. This keeps your chicken so moist because pickle juice actually is slightly acidic. So it's in there, it's breaking down the enzymes. And let me tell you, this chicken came out so moist and so tasty. And it was as simple as using 3 ingredients. All right, so talk about keeping things really simple. Costco has frozen chicken. I thawed out those breasts. So here you see them in there. I've got about 4 breasts in there, and they come individually wrapped, so you can just take out as many as you need. And I took out a few chicken breasts. I've already made this for you, so you'll see the finished product, but I'm going to show you how simple this truly is. When we talk about not having time for cooking or not having time to eat healthy, this is going to remove all excuses because it's simple. It requires no cooking. This machine here does all the work for you, and it is just the easiest thing ever. So I'm here to make you an excuse breaker. All right, so we're going to put in here 4 chicken breasts. Okay, these are nice because they're lean. I don't have to cut them and all that jazz. All right, and then I'm not even going to measure, okay? So many of these things you don't need to measure, just eye it. So instead of using a chicken broth or a veggie broth or a salsa, something that's going to add more moisture, here's what I did. I had the leftover jar of pickle juice, and I even had the pickles in it, and I went like this. Can you see me? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to throw everything in there, including those little dills. And I'm going to add a little bit more liquid from this jar. Okay. And here we go. So I don't know. I'm going to eye this, maybe 4 to 5 cups. You just want to make sure that the chicken is covered in this dill pickle juice. And then one more ingredient. So I've got the chickens, I've got the dill, I've got the juice, and then one more final ingredient is just a couple cubes of garlic, whether you're using something like this or whether you're using fresh garlic. I just threw those in there, as simple as this. Look, I don't even have to take the skins off the garlic. I'm going to do just 3. I don't want it to be too overpowering. And I set it. Check this out. And on this one, I did it overnight, so I put it on 10 hours on low. And there you go. It's done. So 10 hours. This might not be ready for my dinner, but I do have it already prepared, so you know what I'll be having for dinner. So I'm going to let that just cook. It's fantastic, girls. You have to try it. Has anyone ever tried that? Has anyone ever used pickle juice for anything other than throwing it away after you eat a pickle? No response yet. Let me know. Pickled okra. Is it okay? Pickled okra. Gosh, I have to look up okra. I believe so, Fiona. Let me look that one up. I'm not like a huge okra person, but I have to look that up. But pickled anything, I'm all excited about. So that's cooking. Next up is I made a dill dressing because I just don't like throwing things away. It's actually one of my pet peeves, like throwing away food, throwing things away. I'm like, how else can we use, how else can we recycle and reuse things? So I decided to make a Dijon dill dressing. And this came out so amazing. And I'm going to make it two different ways. One's going to be with oil and one's going to be without, just so you have options. Let's see here. Oh, Jessica says she saw it using the juice from olives. Yes, yes. Now we're talking. Yeah, never occurred to me. It honestly never occurred to me until I looked in there. I was like, this huge jar of pickles. And I remember somebody telling me that the pickle juice, just a little bit of pickle juice used in a chili or in making beans really makes a difference. And I remember somebody telling me that. So I was like, how could it? I bet you it's going to make this chicken dynamite. And it sure did. But the biggest thing is how moist it stayed. So flavor and moisture, it was huge. Jenny had asked me about that. So Jenny, you got to try this pickle recipe. Okay, so now we are going to make the dressing. As you know, the best part about the Dijon, my signature Dijon, is that you can make it so many different ways. You can add different spices, you can make it sweet, you can make it savory. And here's another example how we're going to use pretty much the same base, but we are going to now, instead of adding the water, we're going to add the pickle juice to it. I'm going to make two different variations. All right, so I've got my little jar here. It says Dill Dijon, and these are fun to have. I just got these off Amazon, these little jars, and then it comes with these little stickers that you can put on there, and so you can kind of keep track. This is the dill. You can even put on there whether this has the fat in there or whether it doesn't. You can put the serving size. Just makes life really easy. Okay, so we're going to do the first one. We're going to do with the olive oil. So I'm just going to, there's really no need to measure, especially if you've been doing this like me for a very long time. This is like your go-to. All right, there we go. Come on. Okay, good. There's actually a whole lot in there. It's just not coming out. Okay, let's let it sit. There's that. Now, the one thing that you do need to measure is the olive oil, so you know how many servings. So this is going to be 2 servings of fat. 2 servings of fat here because 2 teaspoons is 1 serving. So I've got 2 servings of fat, and I'm going to put that right in here. So you would just take note that this jar has 2 servings. Okay, so half of it would be 1 serving. Get where I'm coming from? Okay, and then you can either do garlic, fresh, or since I have these out, I'm just going to throw one of these in there, throw one of those in there. And then now goes for the pickle juice. So I'm just going to eye this and put a little bit of pickle juice in there. Okay, there we go. And you can make this thick or thin, just kind of depends on your liking. If you're looking more for like a saucy or a dipping sauce, then make it a little bit thicker. If you're looking more for something like a vinaigrette, then you can. I already made, oh, here it is right there. All right, then you could make it a little bit with a little bit more of the liquid of the pickle juice. All right, so there we go. We've got the garlic. And then the final simple ingredient, we are going to add in here some dill weed. So this is just some dill to add to that dill pickle dressing. Okay, eye that, maybe about a half a teaspoon or so. And simply put the lid on it. Here we go. And shake it up. And you have yourself an incredible dressing using the olive oil. Okay, so I know that, some people don't like to have the olive oil because you like to eat your fats, but remember the importance of really changing up your fats and getting different types of fats. So you want to make sure that if there's oil on the menu, eat the oil, and here's a fun way to make it. All right, so we have the Dill Dijon right here, and this one I made with a little bit more mustard, and then this one I made with a little bit less. So you can see how it's a little bit thinner, more like a balsamic dressing. So we have this option here, a little bit thinner, then we have a little bit thicker. This is 2 servings, and now we're going to make the same exact thing, just with no oil. So if you just want to have a free dressing on hand with lots of flavor, really simple, you know how we do it. So I'm actually just going to use this because, again, I don't want to waste any of that Dijon in there. So when it kind of comes down to the bottom of the jar, what I'll do is I'll just use this as my dressing container. So I'm just going to pour this in there, hold back on these dills. There we go. So that's the water. And here we go again. I'm going to use a little bit of this dill weed. And since olive oil does add a nice savory flavor, on this one I am going to do the signature where I add a little bit of stevia just to sweeten it up. A little bit of garlic here and here. And the final ingredient, we're just going to put a little bit of stevia in there. Of course, you don't have to do this, but I just find that with the tartness of the Dijon and also the pickle juice, when you're not using that olive oil to give it that extra flavor, having a little bit of sweetness does make this a little bit better. So there we go. Okay, so now I've got my free dressing, and this usually, I don't know if you want it to last, it can last up to 2 weeks or so, but in my house, this probably lasts a couple of days, especially the free one, because I put that on everything. Now, a couple of ways to eat this chicken. First, I have to show you how it looks once it's all done. All right, so here we go. We've got our shredded chicken, and just use some tongs once it's done and it all shreds up. So here it is. Looks like shredded chicken that I'm sure that you've done in the crock pot. Really delicious and moist. I'm going to plate it for you to all see. And I'm not kidding you. Look at this, how it just falls apart. The breast just kind of falls apart here. My kids are loving this chicken. Actually, last night, David's like, can I have more of that chicken? I'm like, nope, not tonight, because I have to make sure that I have enough to show everyone for today. So here you go. So it came out really great and really extra moist. And then as you can see, it's really easy to shred. That's how moist it is. There we go. So nothing like dry chicken. So this is excellent for moisture. And then depending on what you're having in your meal plan, I wanted to show you these. I've seen some of you post about these, but here to make your life really easy when people are questioning, I don't have time to food prep. This makes your life so easy. If you don't have time to old school put a pot of rice on there, you just throw one of these in the microwave for 90 seconds. Who doesn't have 90 seconds? Okay, there we go. So while that's cooking, the other option would be, of course, we've got these rice cakes, and this, I'm preparing my own lunch right here in front of you, showing you how easy it can be. So whether you use those packets of rice, and same goes for our serving size, so 1/3 cup. So even 1/3 cup of that is already cooked and prepared for you. You just scoop out 1/3 and you've got yourself your rice serving, or you can have your rice cakes. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is just toss this right on top of here, showing you how easy this can be. Okay, we've got our chicken. And keep in mind that you want to make sure that you're not drinking the pickle juice, because you might get a little extra water retention just because it's a little higher in sodium. But you know, you drain it out as you're scooping it up, and then I've been eating it all week and I've been just fine. And then we're going to add a little bit of the free Dijon. Since I'm having my carbs today, I'm not going to add the fats onto there. So there you have it. And you've got your simple little chicken dill hack. So I'm going to make a couple of these. Here we go, a couple of these right on there. And then, of course, you've got the chicken that if you want to have it for, you know, a meal that has the fat in it, you can just use half a serving of our Dijon with a little bit of olive oil in there, and you've got yourself a fantastic dinner. So here we go. So remember, a little bit so you can have more. So there's 1 serving of carbs. Okay. And then a little bit of my dressing right on top there. And there we have it. All right, so there's that version. And then if I want to change it up, because let's say I have 2 servings of carb in a meal, and I just want to have some fun and play around and have 2 different types of carbs, I'm just going to scoop out my 1/3 cup. 1/3 cup is 1 serving. So I've got my rice cakes. I've got my 1/3 cup here of rice on the side. I love this one because it's a mix of the quinoa and the brown rice. So then I've got this over here. So I've got my leftover chicken with my rice. Don't even need to add any more dressing because the flavor from the chicken. And there you go. Throw on a couple veg of your choice and you have yourself a perfect meal. This took all of what? 3 minutes to prepare. All right, so give these a try and let me know what you think. I know somebody's going to ask about my serving size of these rice cakes. These aren't the brown rice cakes. These are the white rice cakes. These are the only ones I had. So 2 of these equals 1 serving. But if you have the brown Londonberg that I love, then that would just be 1. So you could have your 1 and then your 3rd cup of rice. Sandy says late to the party, but here. All right, Sandy, you'll have to watch the replay. We made a delicious dill chicken and we just comboed it with some rice and some rice cakes to make a protein carb lunch. All right, my friends, have a great day. Give this a try. Good news is our push notifications in the app are working again. Sorry about that. It only took an entire month to get my team to figure it out, but they did. And so you'll be getting those again from me. These will be in the app by the end of the day. Have the best day ever, and I cannot wait to see what you think about this amazing recipe. Chat with you soon.